Also really cool that it hit 69 crowns.
Nice. How many do I have? Because I'm lower than you.
I have 56.
I'm lower than both of you.
You're at 58. No, you're at 58.
Oh, I'm at 58. Never mind. I'm actually ahead of Matt.
You beat MadCrash because MadCrash is a new player.
Yeah. That makes me feel better.
He started 2 weeks ago or something like that.
Shut up, Nims.
The one thing I will say I expected going into Micaiah was that she doubles.
You expected her to double?
Yeah. I expected her to be able to compensate offensively by doubling.
What kind of madman are you? I would have never guessed such a thing.
She only has 35 attack.
Alright, well, let's see. Micaiah, Thani Refine. Let's go with that first. You have a plus 10 Micaiah?
Yes, he does. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
it happened when she was on her revival banner.
Wow, I never expected that.
I didn't either.
Hold on, wait. Let me preface this. You have a plus 10 Micaiah with no flowers?
Infantry flowers are rare.
Okay.
Well, then,
Okay.
I have a lot lot of other infantry units.
You'll
about to
close
say, no,
pull
they're not.
Mystic boost her, but you won't give her. Okay. You know what? It's alright. It's alright. I don't like Micaiah either. I understand. That said, plus attack is real good.
It is.
Now let's see. Thani Refine, affecting its armor and cav foes, same as before. Res +3, same as before. If foe uses bow, dagger, magic, or staff, reduce damage from foe's first attack by 30% during combat, same as before.
Nope.
And also, this
No,
is
it's not.
Nope.
Wait. What?
It only worked against armored and cavalry ranged units for some reason.
Oh.
Now it's all ranged units.
Okay.
I don't know why it was like that before, because that was terrible.
Oh,
So they fixed
they wanted to make her specialized, but that's the reason why I also thought, why would they actually, give Micaiah Refine? Because in my books, Thani's still amazing. Well, not amazing, but great.
Yeah. It's just a blue tome with dual effective. That's all that matters. Nobody pays attention to the other stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't have to.
Exactly. So that's the surprising part. All right, continuing on, the actual refine is at start of combat, if unit's HP is over 50%, okay, should be, grants attack res +5 during combat. Unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack?
Suck it.
Yeah.
Wait, you actually no way you actually guessed that Micaiah was gonna
guessed
double.
it. That's the one thing I guessed at the start, was that Micaiah would double.
Wait, how?
Somehow. Because she needed the offensive presence, and Sigurd just came out with the ability to double on a whim. So why not do that with Micaiah?
No, actually, that makes some sense. But
It's not like her speed's amazing. It's 28.
that actually bothers me a bit because, honestly, Micaiah's, in my books, already really good. She's... Okay, I'll be honest. If you're not fighting armored or calves, Ileana is now better. But let's be honest. She's usually supposed to be for armored and calves. Now that she has an auto double built into her, isn't she...
She's a pretty good mage in general now.
Yeah.
It's dual phase, yeah.
Yeah, it's dual phase. You can even use her as just a pure range check if you so desire.
So
Which, of
that's the
course-
point I was trying to make. I thought Ileana was better than Micaiah outside of armor and cav engagements. Now it just looks like Micaiah could still be better because when it comes to everything but speed, they're like super comparable.
Well, let's actually... Hold on. Let's pull that up.
Sure.
Infantry, blue mages. So, Ileana versus Micaiah. Micaiah's infinitely older, has 10 more dragon flowers. I won't account them here.
Don't count it, yeah.
Micaiah has 4 less HP, 3 less attack, 4 less speed, 1 more defense, and 5 less res.
Okay, but effectively, well, it is a noticeable gap, but effectively, they're very similar.
Yeah, they have a similar role to each other, and of course Thani gives a bit of an extra attack lead and extra res lead visibly. Now it also is just more attack res on top, so I think if anything Micaiah still beats Ileana in attack.
Yeah, no,
Outright.
that's the thing. Like, I thought Ileana caught up to Micaiah and was better in everything but armor and calves, and now I just think Micaiah is probably still extremely good because it's not just armored and calves she's good at now, she's just good at killing everything. It's kind of reminds me of like Fallen Julia. Not quite the same because Fallen Julia's B-slot and she obviously hits way harder. But the idea
that was
of it.
my two comparisons that we were thinking of as far as unit archetype would be Fallen Julia and Bramimond. Bramimond mostly because MadCrash went crazy with the defense here, but Fallen Julia especially for the attack res focus. Obviously, we don't have light and dark, but they both have the same archetype of high damage auto-doubling nukes with good res, and a pretty salvageable defense stat, or speed stat, if you want to go that route.
Yep.
Speed, mostly it's Legendary Julia.
I'm kind of planning on shifting Micaiah to an Astro Blessing, and ideally her A slot would be attack, defense, solo.
Yeah.
Okay, then in other words, you're making Julia light then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. That's
Looking looking through it, I'm pretty sure she's the only blue mage now with auto follow-up in her weapon. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but yeah,
I think you're right.
she's the only auto follow-up blue mage. So that also is just a unique role unto itself. Obviously she won't beat out like Legendary Julia in attack, but Legendary Julia has a tough time doubling. And the meta having so many cavalry and armors, cavalry and ether raids, armors and arena, she just slots right in anyways.
That's my point. Actually, this actually increased her usability drastically. Now this is a unit good for anything.
She'll be
Seriously.
really good against cav lines too.
Yep, that's
Extremely.
probably the biggest thing because they actually buffed that damage reduction to encompass more all-range weapons. So yeah, that's
Now,
huge.
unfortunately, it's not anything close to like Blood Tome, which is 50% on both hits to ranged.
Sure, yeah,
But if she's one-shotting cav lines, it doesn't matter.
right.
So
Okay.
And
yeah, no,
with
this
with
completely
her
changed
res, with her res, there are not a lot of magic units that are going to be able to put any significant dents in her
If
from a
invested.
cav line, except for maybe Gunthra if she gets some heavy debuffs. And then there's also Summer Mia. 75% damage reduction is bullshit.
Yeah. Nah, make no mistake, 30% isn't a lot, but it's still enough. It's the same as Kadusha's staff. I've done this
Yeah.
before. I think a very decently invested Legendary Julia can't one-shot a Leo because of Reinhilder's reduction. Just to put things into perspective.
That's such a weird perspective. I don't even see
It is a
Leos.
weird perspective. Exactly. He sucks, but his damage reduction's enough to take one of the best blue mages.
Yeah.
Obviously not Micaiah, but conversely, Micaiah can take some pretty serious green mage shots because of that
Yeah.
chunk up.
Yep. I do see potential issues from Thracer, but if I keep Mystic Boost and have a damaging special like Iceberg, it may not be as much of an issue. We'll see going forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but right away, I'm just gonna say Micaiah's base build with Death Blow is now back on the table. Not just back on the table, but like
Well, not
incredibly
base,
good.
but basic.
Oh yeah, basic. It's yeah, she
Base
comes with
build
this,
is distant defense.
right? But still, that's what I mean. Like that's
Which-
crazy good.
Which that build's actually still not bad. Distant defense guard, you can actually be a very solid, like 1 or 2 combat range tank with that.
Yeah, the actual super cheapo build that I like on Micaiah is Death Blow 3 with Renewal, and then you keep.
You could also run
Sacrifice.
Mirror Strike now.
Oh well, yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, no, she has a pretty easy build option to her. Ideally, you can do something like Mystic Boost, as MadCrash has done here. Try to get her off her defense as much as possible. You can run lull attack res. I mean, like I mentioned with Bramimon, if you just push her defense, you can kind of just turn her into a blue Bramimon of sorts, since her doubling is so easy.
Yep.
And she has a pretty decent attack stat.
Yep.
So that's something to consider as well.
That being said, if you are using a push skill, make sure that you have a healing special.
Or Mystic Boost at the very least.
Yeah,
That too.
but yeah. Okay, anyways, I really like this build that you have here. It's super concise. Attack, defense, solo, close, full. Gives you another 11 defense up close. And because, well, if they're ranged, the 30% damage reduction really stretches out your HP and defenses even further. But Mystic Boost also stretches out further because if she survives battle, 6 HP healed is essentially like saving you 6 damage.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
As far as what I want her A skill to be, I actually want it to be attack, defense, solo as well, just to make sure that it's active on both phases, and
You could
also
run Unity.
stacking up stupid amounts of attack.
If you have the option, I'd run Unity in an Ether Raids offense.
Yeah, that can work too.
Yeah. I think that at this point, Micaiah's glaring weakness is her HP, which blessings fix, but otherwise, stack up her defense wherever possible.
Yeah.
I think that at this point, she's just a very good generalist unit. She gets 15 Dragon Flowers, so her BST isn't that much in the dumpster. Yeah. That one refine just compensates her weakness so well.
Yep, because that's, as long as she's above 50% HP, that's 47 res she has, not 42, which is also really high. And if I do manage to get enough Dragon Flowers, then hey, that's 50 before Summoner Support, before any other blessings or anything outside.
Yep. That's what makes Micaiah interesting. I will say, it's not meta-breaking, but it puts Micaiah into a playing field equal to some of the other modern mages.
No, I think she's a
including the other
top
Micaiahs.
blue mage now. Jeez.
She's definitely one of them. The only problem is, I don't think she's as good as some of the actual, like, top mages, like, you know, Duo Alphonse, for example, Ophelia, maybe even Runya at max and best.
I think she's like on the level of Ophelia. Wing Legend, welcome back! 33 months
yeah.
straight.
The main thing is that she is obviously with weaknesses, her HP and defense. That's really about it.
Alright, but enough
Defense
about...
for mages is typically pretty easy to patch.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're supposed to have a weakness too. It's just like when people say like Dimitri has a weakness at Legendary Dimitri has a weakness at res. I'm just like, okay, he should. Otherwise, he's like invincible.
I mean, Duo Alphonse, his weakness is patched up. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, Duo Alphonse also has the issue that if you just run off up. Well, actually, he could one shot you, but.
Yeah, I mean, Micaiah also has that problem.
And well, no, actually, if you pulse milk him, it could be problematic for him.
Yeah, he has his weakness, but I will say that he's still probably a notch above even Micaiah. But this definitely puts her in the running for one of the best blue mages, and given that she's a book 2 unit, a lot of people might have her. So, yeah.
No, this is definitely a good refine. But yeah, let's move on because we've been talking about Micaiah for more than I think I need to. All right.
Yeah, it's the book 2 refine, so it's the biggest one to talk. Next.
Next. Oh, Lapin. Okay, I'll be interested. Lapin.
Oh.
Here's the thing, Lapin doesn't like girls in this game. Like, he really goes hard for the guys. So I'm just questioning whether this will actually be good.
I mean, put the do in.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Okay. You know what?
Okay. You tried. No, you didn't.
You know what? Let's try. There you go. Well, I don't know. King Ping Bell's also stupid. Ugh, this is not going well. Are there no Elise fans? I thought people liked Elise.
I liked Elise.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe there is somebody who actually likes Elise. A +1 Elise with plus speed. That's not bad at all.
I have Valter refine at Nimius 5,247,328,989.
Okay, I'll check it out after. I think attack speed push with attack defense level actually goes a long way. Patches her defense up and more attack and more speed. And of course, she has so much fun killing things. So
nothing patches up her HP though.
yeah, that's one of the lowest HPs in the game. I believe her and Kagero are fighting for like last place or something.
Yeah, that's the main reason why defense pushing has never been my thing. And that's why I don't particularly like that it's attack defense solo KPB, but I know you can't run attack speed. With that said, why is he running it?
Let's see. You have Elise's staff. Speed +3, calculates damage from staff like other weapons after combat. If unit attack, inflicts gravity on target and foes within one space of target. I'm actually one of the biggest fans of gravity. I feel like people always dump gravity, but like you could do so many janky things with gravity. Also, just like her sister Camilla, Brave Camilla has gravity in her staff as well, and yeah.
Elise came with it, so it's nice to see that. Slow down a little bit and look at the rest. Look at the base effect a little more.
Okay. Inflicts gravity on target and foes within one space of target. Restricts target's movement to one space through its next actions. Okay. I don't see anything. Huh?
Prior to that.
Oh, calculates damage from staff like other weapons. So yeah.
Or that.
B +3. Is that it?
It's the only staff that grants its own stats flat.
Oh, okay.
In fact, it's the only refine that grants its own flat stat.
Yeah. Well, it's the only new personal
Yeah,
weapon.
new
that can
personal
do that.
weapon. No other weapon does that, and it's on a staff, which no other staff does that. So it's a Wrathful staff with flat speed +3 and gravity at base.
Oh yeah, I should have noticed that because I don't remember Elise having 40 speed at plus speed, at just +1.
Yeah.
Even there's Dragonfly, I was like, yeah, I don't remember that being that. Okay, speed +3 is actually huge because I would argue you basically want all your healers to have some sort of speed, unless they're a magical tank. That's different though.
For perspective's sake, Elise was supposed to be the offensive healer of the bunch, and she
Yep.
only has 32 speed.
Yeah, I mean, but she's a launch hero.
I mean, yeah, but now that speed kind of patches up a little bit. To put things into perspective, because no other healer has that, she's now tied with Loki for the 3rd fastest healer.
Okay, that's goofy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only ones that beat her are Veronica and Camilla.
Right,
course.
as it should be, because those are brave heroes. With that said, if unit or ally initiates combat against a foe within 2 spaces of the unit, inflicts attack speed, defense, res -4 on that foe during combat.
Remember Owen's Refine?
That is interesting, because, by the way, I actually like that refine. I actually think that refine fits better on Veronica, though.
Ironically. I mean, they're both the same concept.
Same concept, but this is a bit more.
One's a gravity healer and the other one's a penalty active healer.
Right. But, okay, the reason why I like this one a bit more is because it's offensively orientated, and honestly, Veronica's, let's just be frank, most Veronicas are used offensively. I guess she's still a healer, but she's one of the more offensively orientated healers. So if the ability triggers via initiating combat, that makes perfect sense to me. But hey, it also fits Elise, because if you remember her character and how she views war and stuff, it's just a game to her. So yeah, it makes sense that she's bloodthirsty.
She has Foxstone effectively while driving you to her allies, if you want to look at it that
Oi,
way.
my boy, I live these refine and I have been saving my orbs for a special occasion, and this new Lin hit the jackpot.
Well, good luck on Lin, because I need to go for Lin as well. Yeah.
Same here. For reference's sake, Elise hits 50 attack and 39 speed base with the initiation.
Wow.
Camilla hits about 51, 41, if I'm not mistaken. So Camilla has attack speed +3 when initiating. Let's not forget. So Elise actually almost keeps up with even that.
That is crazy. Okay. By the way, this is already my favorite staff refine. Not that there's much competition, but I think this fits better than Veronica.
I think it's a better refine than Veronica's, honestly.
Yeah.
The only problem is that it's Elise, who has 30 HP. Otherwise, though, it's a really, really good refine. Honestly, like through and through.
Elise has the lowest HP of all units in the game.
Yeah, that's the main reason why the attack penalty isn't that useful, because you're probably going to run Dazzling Iron B slot anyways.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to speed, defense, and res. Okay.
Yeah. Which even the defense is kind of wasted because it's Elise.
Right.
But it does help for allies, so that is important to note.
Yep.
That being said, the positioning for Elise is much stricter than it is for Veronica.
Yeah, that's true.
Veronica
That's
has
3 spaces.
3 spaces. And of course, you have to initiate on a foe within 2 spaces of Elise. So you can't be within 2 spaces of her, your foe has to be. Which lends to its own things, because technically your ally could be 4 spaces away and you still get the penalties on them. Well, but it's a little harder to position.
I can see the idea, though. Elise runs in, heals, allies right there, right on top of everything now. Gets the attack off with -4 on everything. So I can see it working out just because of how the healer AI works.
I think it definitely has potential.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't use it. It's the same thing as Olwyn's, where she gets Swift Sparrow basically when initiating as a drive.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't used that as much as a support. I'm not sure how I would do it with Elise because she's a support-based unit. But I'm interested.
Oh, wait.
And at the very least, it's huge for her.
It is. I was just saying, I should have realized that King Pinkbell would like Elise because he really likes Gunter. So
Oh, yeah.
now it makes slightly more sense. Alright, but yeah, with that said, I think this is a really good Elise, especially in a build like this, adding another 6 attack here, 7 here, and another 4 here. That is 17 extra attack, so hitting 64, this is a scary Elise.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Holy crap.
And then the speed isn't bad as well, because that goes to 51, so 64, 51 at just +1. This is incredibly
Pre-blessings.
offensive. Yeah.
Pre-blessings. Granted, she'll only hit 42 HP with double mythic, but that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really competent. Honestly, I like the build.
Well, now it's time to welcome your second best. I still think Veronica's overall better just because of her staff ability. You know, the buff debuff aspect just
Yeah,
is super annoying to deal with.
I mean, it's not the biggest buff debuff, and I think that's the big issue. Versus gravity, which is just outright crippling in a lot of compositions.
Yeah, actually, with that said, gravity. I mean, people understate like the power of movement, but once you get hit by gravity, suddenly all your plans have changed. I've seen that happen in my Ether Raid's defense battles where I run my Brave Camilla, and once she gets an attack off, people are just like, oh shit. Like, they don't realize, like, oh, that's not a lot of damage. We can take the hit. No, that's more than just damage. But yeah, I can see it.
It's basically like the better Cavline gravity, because Cavlines run gravity, pain, or panic.
Right.
Elise gets to do so while having innate Wrathful Staff and extra speed, so she can actually hit those competent offenses.
Mm-hmm.
So, like ARD speed res, for example. But, yeah. The only struggle is going to be that you have to run Dazzling on her B, because, as people probably remember with Veronica's, you can only refine Elise for the signature effect. You can't refine her for Wrathful Dazzling.
True.
So, if you want her to be a status afflictor with Elise's staff, you do have to run a separate Dazzling skill. Otherwise, she can get countered.
But I think that's pretty fair. It's not like Dazzling Staff is that hard to get.
Yeah, it's in the compile path, and there's a few already in the pool. It's getting harder now that they keep getting rid of those Dazzling users, but it's not too bad.
Okay. Anyways, I like this. It's essentially just an improved gravity, and again, I'm a big fan of gravity. I can even see Elise sweeping entire teams if you just run double Savage Blow on her in Ether... Or sorry, not Ether Raids, Arena Assault, something like that. That's super good.
She can destroy Arena Assault teams, no problem.
Man, now this smile is very fitting, because she's having fun killing people.
Back to her old ways, when she used to be the best healer, because of her offenses.
Right. Okay, so yeah, Elise, I like this refine as well. That's another top tier refine. Damn, they really revamped her. I didn't expect her to actually be good. Like, not just good, but like very good, usable in so many modes now.
I thought that she'd be irrelevant still, because her stats are worse than most other healer Cavs to this day.
Yeah.
But they actually went and fixed that.
Exactly. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. I forgot who the other guys are. Oh, Valter! Valter!
Valter.
Alright, let's do Valter first.
I just want to say it's sad, by the way, that we'll never be able to see Elise, because who has her?
There
we go.
Yeah, some people have her, but they're very specific people, which, by the way, we'll take a quick break just to see something.
Holy face. Ah!
Oh yeah.
I might have forgotten to use some flags.
You forgot to use... Oh, wow. Oh, no. I knew it. I knew it. I was
Did
just
it
like...
happen?
24 hours ago, guys, I was just like, should I be using my flags? And I was just like, nah, I can probably... No. I can probably make better usage of... No. No, I did not.
Holy crap.
I still have like 200 flags left, which would have been easily enough to... Like, 200 to 400 flags left. I could have easily made top 1k.
Yeah, I didn't do so well in ranking. I'm not very good at voting gauntlet.
Wait a second. It didn't say winner first. What?
Puppy
It
wins.
says a third. It says a third, but still. Suck it!
Did I miss
Suck
Faye
it.
or she last?
Faye is last. We'll do Faye at the end. You barely lost, too. It wasn't even by 200 million.
No.
No, it was actually by a little more than 200.
No! He was the only one who was festive! Halloween was less than a week ago!
What are you talking about? It's a wolf costume.
247,328,989.
What are you talking about?
He
It's
is
an
a
actual...
literal werewolf.
Primo's also infestive.
It would have been... Guys, would have been so fitting if Rolf actually pulled this off, guys. Come on! Ah, that actually hurts me, man.
What does the wolf say?
But I do want to say, it is fitting that... It's what is the fox? Okay, I get it. You're making a bad pun. Okay. It is fitting because I think Valoria beat the odds-on, hands-on favorite. I think Bernadetta was expected to win this, but since Valoria beat her, and then Valoria beat everybody else. I guess that's fair. But yeah, it would have been really nice to have somebody on the free-to-play side, because, let's be frank, male characters rarely win, and this was going to be a very fitting festive winner, considering it was just Halloween, so.
I mean, it would have been... Valoria at least avenged Grima, the other festive unit. Furries for the win.
I guess. I mean, furries look out for furries, right? Well, actually, they're not furries because they're actually beasts. That doesn't make sense. Alright. Anyways, interesting little interlude. She's an actual wolf girl. How much more festive can you get? Well, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Like,
Valoria gets to cheat. She can dress up as Red Riding Hood and the wolf, and it doesn't have to change anything.
yeah. Whereas, like, Rolf was actually trying to be festive and stuff. Sully alt win. Never. Okay. As I said, Zork has an incredible Valter. A very, very good Valter. All he's missing is Dive Bomb, but to be honest, because of how Curse Lance works... Oh, wait, I clicked it. Never mind. You wouldn't really want to use Dive Bomb in the first place, because you'll just drain your HP super quickly. So Desperation generally makes more sense.
Yeah.
With that said, Dive Bomb you can use immediately, so there are still reasons to use it, even if you do take chip damage. But I understand why you go Desperation.
I mean, with Seteth, I would probably do Dive Bomb. Valter, just even off the base Curse Lance, I would be doing Desperation.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
With that said, though, Curse Lance, I just touched it for a second, and I saw it was basically
A
Yu-Gi-Oh level.
massive wall.
Yes.
For good reason, or not.
There's a lot going on.
Wait a second. I'm just gonna say, is this Legions?
No.
Oh.
No.
It's just that the penalty effect takes up so much.
Oh. Okay. Special trigger cooldown count -1, as it was before. Grants attack speed, defense, res +3. Did they improve that by 1 point?
And
They
also
improved
added
it by
Def
1
Res.
point and added the def res. Yep.
Yeah, it's now purely Fury 3 as opposed to Valter's weird attack speed 2 with Fury
Wait,
damage.
I thought it was supposed to be just... Oh my god, it wasn't Fury.
No, it was attack speed +2.
Oh, it was
deals
even-
4 damage to the unit.
It was even more shitty than I remembered. I was
It was
like,
terrible.
I was
It was actually terrible.
I was just
It
like,
was
wasn't it Fury
bad.
2?
It was a standard attack speed 2, but it still got Fury damage for some reason.
Wow, that is...
But keep in mind, this was the first weapon back then that had slaying and something else.
Ah, that's
Everything
true.
else before that was just purely slaying, like Eldigan's Mistletoe.
Ah, you're right. I was super excited about Valter when he first launched. Mostly because I killed him off for Panic Ploy. Or not...
I mean, he comes with that.
yeah. Yeah, I killed him off for Panic Ploy for my Noe. That's what I remember. Okay, anyways. If unit's HP is under 100% at start of combat, basically just get in one combat. Or if penalty is active on foe, grants attack, speed, defense +5 to unit during combat, and inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack during combat, aka that's guard. Wait, that's an additional... So essentially, they've improved his attack by 6, speed by 6, res by 3, and now he has guard, so long as he's taken damage, which is not hard at all.
Yeah, he gets free defense +8, res +3, and then, like you said, attack speed +6, and guard. And the thing is, it's so easy. One penalty on the foe, you inflict guard. If Valter is damaged, you get guard.
Holy crap, they even accounted for his Panic Ploy in his base kit, because that's the idea.
Yeah, it's supposed to be super flexible.
What the heck? Wow. Okay, I'm already impressed. This is... I don't think this is crazy broken, guys, but this is extremely good.
Oh,
And
it's
it's
super solid.
Right, and it's one of the few times where I've seen IS just pay attention entirely and take account of everything of a character. Because I'll be honest, the one thing big issue of Valter I was thinking is just like, it's not quick enough. It's not quick enough in the current meta. Actually, he is now. Oh,
He's getting... well,
if you mangle
Okay,
him for speed, I think he gets quick enough.
yeah. So you want some perspective here.
Yeah.
Seteth, this is competition. So I want to bring that into the limelight. Out the gate, Valter has 2 less HP, 4 less attack, 5 less speed, 2 more defense, and 5 less res than Seteth,
Wow.
who just came out. But now we add in Spear of Assault and Cursed Lance. At full swing, Valter has 1 more HP, equal attack, 4 less speed, 10 more defense, and 2 less res.
So basically, the trade-off is speed for a lot of defense. Actually, that's a fair trade.
And then guard slaying versus lull attack speed and drive attack speed.
So yeah, semi support versus guard. Which, by the way, I think a lot of situations you might want to take guard. Some heroes with
Guard
specials.
and slaying are huge.
Yeah.
Because you can run a Gale Force build off this with Heavy Blade pretty handily. You can go completely solo and not have to worry about allies like Sedith does. And of course, guard just shuts down so many builds these days.
Oh my god, yeah. Holy, Chad, this is a great refine.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get into the nuances of it, the lull attack on Sedith really doesn't matter because Valter has 10 more defense. The physical shots aren't going to be much better with a buff.
Damn, okay.
So, yeah.
I'm a fan. I also just like, yeah, I think Brazen Attacks, wow, this is just a really good kit altogether. Here's the thing, the one thing I'm worried about is 5 damage chip, 6 damage chip. That's 11 damage per battle you're taking.
You're pushing yourself out of push very quickly.
You're pushing yourself out of push, that's the issue. 25% of 50 is what, 10, right? So, wait, is it
what?
10?
It's 12.
No, 12.
12.5.
Yeah,
12 rounded down.
yeah, it's 12. I'm tired.
So
12.
10,
So
11, 24, no, 22, 33.
within 4 battles, you're out of it. And that's if you take no counterattack damage, which is
I mean, that's not
unlikely.
terrible, but it can get a little egregious.
Yeah. Okay.
But in those 4 combats, you have, let's see here, 44, 51, 55 base speed, 62 in Brazen.
Wow. Especially with this build. This build is actually... Zork, did you have this build ready before... Wait, I think you did.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
wow,
so-
this actually is perfectly fit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay, so good job, Zork. This is just an amazing build. Tons of speed, tons of attack, and honestly, that's all you need. But then, as a nice throw-in, having guard just protects Valter a ton, and actually helps him in a lot of battles. For example, if you fight heroes with like 1 cooldown noontime or whatever, if they can counterattack you, okay, good job, you can't kill them now. But if they can't even get that special up, oh well.
Yeah. No, exactly. The guard
I
is the
also
biggest.
have Fury 4
Oh.
just in case.
Okay,
Also,
good, yeah,
I keep
Fury
my
4.
Valter run and F-Grima team as well for even more speed. But on the main
Yeah.
topic of refines, I love how much the refine does.
Honestly, going into this, I was having the feeling of it like being
I was afraid.
Well, you were afraid? Oh, I was feeling like this could be like a Legion level refine, is what it felt like to me.
I was afraid because Sedith had just come out.
Oh,
Not even a month ago, and he's still faster than Valter if we want to get into the nuances of it.
okay, fine. But I think Valter. That's true because Sedith is a 4-star unit technically, so it's not. It's not.
Summonable.
Yeah, he's also just like you can just randomly summon him. So with that said, like Valter measures up really well against Sedith, but because Sedith isn't a 5-star locked hero, I actually can't put Valter over Sedith still because
Yeah,
yeah,
especially because of scoring.
scoring is huge.
I'd say that he's a great unit if you like him, and I'd say he's a great unit to pick up. If you want to put him into a defense team, you can actually do that because of penalties being so common in Ether Raid's defense. Very possible, and the big thing with Valter is that it's a huge physical defense tank, as opposed to Sedith, who's kind of balanced. So it's very hard to kill him physically, and he's still kind of fast.
Yeah.
But as a full +10 project, I'd say be careful.
Right,
because
I think-
he's not peak for that.
Yeah, I think Sedith just offers more there. But with that said, if you're a big fan of Valter, you've gotten something really, really good. And he's suddenly turned into a legitimate flying tank. With Cursed Lance, his defense goes up to 45 in this kind of build. Which is surprisingly bulky for a flyer. But yeah, no, this is a great Valter. I quite like him. I can even see this Valter being annoying like Ether Raid's defense. If they don't run an Archer, and then there's a healing tower nearby, suddenly all the damage he's taken isn't such a big deal.
Yeah. Especially with like Wings of Mercy, sponging, things like that.
Oh yeah.
Not that hard.
Right. Okay. So yeah, with that said, Valter's refines also really good. I don't think there's gonna be one refine I don't like. Anyways, I think that's all the refines because I don't want to bother with no stupid chicken. God damn, there's a bunch of chickens. Holy crap, there's a 94 crown chicken master here.
I was gonna say, by the way, that Valter is in good GHB rotation, so at least he's easy to pick up.
Okay.
Mm.
All right, let's look at the 94 crown chicken. Holy
All right.
fuck. It's... okay, I'll be honest. A lot of people made Faye's back in the day. Faye and Noe were like two of the most popular units back in the day.
She had the
Poopy-handed
bulk.
chicken.
Yep, Bird Jesus knows. Poopy-handed chicken. So a lot of people have like these pocket Fays that haven't seen the light of day for like 2 years now. She's just like starved and crazed, but you know, maybe
For my
she gets to
team
see the
with
light
Valter,
now.
I run Valter, Resplendent, Minerva, F. Gruma, and Ashnard.
Okay, well that's a pretty badass team. Also
That is a
really
pretty badass
accessible.
team.
Outside the
Oh,
Fallen
yeah.
Grima.
And Resplendent Minerva, young Minerva
Oh,
would
well,
be the
oh, yeah.
accessible one.
Yeah, I would just run Youngmer. But yeah. Okay, that's it. Internal Breath. It also has sparkly things. Oh, is it going to be double brazen? I don't know. Let's see. At start of turn, if an ally is within 2 spaces... Oh, yeah. For a reminder, she has Light Breath. So this is the Light Breath portion, it looks like. If an ally is within 2 spaces... Oh, actually, maybe it's not. If an ally is within 2 spaces of unit, grants attack speed, defense, res +5 to unit, and allies within 2 spaces for 1 turn. Wait, what?
It's insane. So
That's better
it's
than
like-
Astrum.
It's Light Breath, except it happens passively instead of actively, so you don't have to do a combat for it. The +5 all applies to herself and allies within 2 spaces. The only circumstance differentiating her from Astrum is Astrum can give it to himself without allies.
Green Brave Lucina.
Otherwise,
It's also 1 point lower for every stat.
yeah. So Mercurius is all +4 to himself and allies within 2 spaces as long as he's healthy, but only allies that are male or physical. Faye just gives it to anybody. For reference, the Robins are Spectrum Tactics. They give +4 to all stats to any team that has 2 or less of the same move type. Faye gives +5 all stats to anybody, as long
And
as she's within 2
herself.
spaces,
That's
including
Mega
herself.
Ultra Chicken to you, she's a legend. Her refine is better and less restrictive than both the Robins.
Oh my god. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what it feels
Yeah.
like?
Hmm?
It feels like Faye's just like smearing the poop in her hands on everybody that she's touching, and now they all of a
I
sudden
hate-
get more buffs and get better.
Shut up and get on with it, Nims.
Okay. Additionally, if bonus is
Robin?
active on you.
Spectrum Tactic. What's that? All I know is that's joint hone Spectrum.
You know, the other thing I wanted to point out is I'm glad they recognize Faye doesn't offer very much in the current game. Like, if you were gonna try and make Faye like a super tank or something like that, why? There's no point.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So to
just
make her
testing
into an
all that.
entirely different role, I can agree with that.
She's literally the best buff bot we have now. +5 tactics to anybody for free. And
Wow.
this is the not refined portion. This is the weapon.
Yeah,
So just to get the weapon, and now you have a free buff bot.
yeah. Actually, for one thing, Light Breath was extremely restrictive. And if you guys didn't know, Light Breath doesn't even carry through the next turn. For example, if an enemy unit hits you on the enemy phase turn, and it's your turn now, you don't get no buffs carry over.
Yep.
Like, it's so dumb. There are so many restrictions that nobody really wanted to use it. I'm glad they took the concept of it and then just removed the massive handicap and improved it greatly. 2 spaces, buffing yourself and allies very easily. Of course,
Putting Robin and Astrum into a ditch.
yeah, that's also the other thing. But I feel bad for Robin, but I'm going to be sure that Astrum, if the game survives for another 3 years, when he finally gets his refine, maybe even 4
It's gonna
years.
be longer than 3 years. It's gonna be like 6.
That's what I'm saying. He'll be good.
Arise, chicken. Arise. The day of reckoning has come, Nims.
It was just Tuesday. KFC Popeyes had a great promotion. I hope all of you had enjoyed your fried chicken. Anyways, if bonus of active on unit inflicts attack res -4 on foe and grants special cooldown charge +1 per foe's attack during combat.
Think Gwendolyn, but instead of granting attack def +4, it's an attack res -4, which is better.
I was scared for a
Or
moment.
Think, huge fan. Think that way as well.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I was scared for a moment because I was just like, wait a second, is she about to pull some Brave Lucina shit for allies? Because the first portion of it was supportive of allies. No, it's for herself. Thank goodness.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she's not totally Brave Lucina, but she does have a very solid role for herself now. She can, like, proc instant moonbows whenever she's attacked, for example. If she runs QR, then she could proc 5, 3, 2, 0. She could proc Ether in one combat with QR, for example.
Wow.
And this does put her offenses up to a pretty decent standing.
Actually, that is kind of awkward because there's one kind of phase that I still remember seeing a lot of, warding breath phase.
Yeah. Those ones, ouch.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Yeah, Breath Fey no longer does anything. DC Fey still does, though.
Yep.
Well, not a lot of people did DC Fey because they all went lightning breath. Okay.
Except for this guy.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, except for I don't know if he actually had this breath. Well, we'll see. But I'm just to say this is not a perfect transition because I feel like most people did lightning breath, most people did warding breath, steady breath, anything like that, and then they ran QR. That's the most common. Yeah, see, that's the most common phase ever. And now they basically, if to make full utilization of her, should switch over to DC. So the transition isn't perfect, but the hero itself has gotten far better. It's just slightly awkward.
It kind of sucks for the people who have Breath on Faye. I didn't even build her. I just have a 5-star Faye. But for sake of perspective, right out the gate, she's hitting 51 attack with Eternal Breath's in combat buff. And then she hits 56 attack with the visible buff. For sake of reference. And then she hits 34 defense with 39 res.
That's really good.
On 49 HP.
That's really good. The other thing I was going to say, like, even if you just remove the attack speed, defense, res plus 5 to unit, and allies in 2 spaces, because, let's be frank here, sometimes you don't want to buff yourself because it could be detrimental. Even if it were just... Well, she still needs a buff of some sort. But
you can use the movement buff.
Yeah, even if it's just like a movement buff or something, and you just have attack res -4 on your foe, and special cooldown charge +1 per foe's attack, it's actually still really, really good.
Yeah. No, the base of the refine effect's still really good. It's the fact that she comes with such a fantastic spectrum buff that makes it so interesting.
Oh damn, Faye's got good.
Yeah, no, for sake of reference,
she now
I'm checking.
Can use bonus doubler and also go heavy or flashing blade for great special spam build.
Wait, dragons can use flashing blade?
Can they? Yeah. And heavy blade obviously will still work.
Okay.
That would basically just give her universal cooldown as long as she has a buff and has more attack than her foe, which is pretty nice. Just for sake of reference, on Game Press, Faye is now the most popular unit being searched at the moment.
What?
Because of the Refine. The Refine was that interesting to people. I
mean, I like it.
I like it a lot, and Faye has some new tools to work with, what with Dragon's Ire. If she wants to give herself a movement buff without having to go... Well, instead, she can now run Tempest, I think. There's always the free-to-play stances, like Sturdy Stance, if you want to compensate for her defense. You can, like, run Sturdy Stance... If you want to go Distant Counter, you just run Sturdy Stance 3 with Dragon's Ire. Now she's got Guard, Accelerated Cooldown, she's doubling through 50%. And she actually has a pretty solid stat line to work with. And she's great support.
Guys, this is actually... You know, it's upsetting in a way, but also relieving in a way. Because the final Lolly Dragon left. Because Tiki got a Refine. Noe is the only one missing. Because it was Tiki, Noe, and I guess technically as another free-to-play launch hero, Dragon launch hero is Corrin. They all have the Refines now. Except for Noe. And if they're all this good, I'm looking so forward to Noe.
I mean, Tiki's, you can argue, was only okay. It's attack defense +5 when to space of a dragon or sword, and then falchion. But it was a really good refine at its time. I will give you that.
Given its launch time and the fact that back then, we were pretty much just happy when... Remember we got Slaying with like Wudao with Slaying combined together. Oh, we're like, oh my god, that's amazing.
It's still a nice refine, but it's like, it's not the meta-breaking refine anymore.
Yeah, but no, Tiki for the time was amazing because it was like 3 effects at once.
The thing with Noe is that it's most likely going to be based on Lightning Breath, and that would be a distant counter refine.
We'll see.
It's going to mutate.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a mutation off Light Breath, a really good one. I don't know what they're going to do with Lightning, but that's why they haven't done it, I'm guessing. It's because it's a weird refine to have to adapt. Though, that said, for Faye in particular, this is just revolutionary. And honestly, I'll say right now, if you have a Faye, promote her to 5 stars and just throw her into Arena Assault.
Yep.
You basically have a tactic bot, no investment at all.
Yeah,
She
I
even comes
agree.
with renewal.
I agree.
So
Faye got real
nah.
good. But I won't be
Yeah.
doing that because I hate Faye. Anyways, those are our weapon refines. I think, frankly, they're all good.
This is a really strong refine batch.
IS has been really knocking out of the park. They just keep making good refines and good refines now.
Yeah, no, I think that they finally realized refineries have to be something other than a skill.
Yep.
Like sturdy stance. Which, by the way, poor Eldigan, original Mistletoe is Fury 3 on Slaying. That's the base effect on Valter now.
Yeah. There are some heroes that legitimately they need another weapon refined, but they won't do that because they're not even done with Gen 1 heroes still.
Yeah, they won't be for a while. I think I posted this in Stream Guests a little while ago, but you can see how many units are left.
Yep, I did.
Book.
I'll show the chat later. Anyways, remember chat though. Chickens are food, not friends. Please remember that. Don't play with your food. But with that said, what's your favorite refines? And I don't think there will be a least favorite refine because they're all good. So let me know.
If I'm just gonna say, I think my favorite in general is Faye, followed by Micaiah, followed by Elise, followed by Valter, and that's mostly because Valter's the only one that really has a contest to fight. The other three are pretty distinct in their roles.
Yeah.
I don't have a Fae myself. I have no real intention of building her, but I recognize that her refine is very good, and even just the base effect of her new weapon is a really good one for her.
Yeah, that's the main thing. You can literally just use her. You don't have to refine her.
I would say my favorite of the bunch is Micaiah, though.
That I couldn't tell.
That I was gonna say, despite how good Faye has become, I actually really like Micaiah because it gave her more than just a specialist role. She's now a generalist unit.
Yeah, I agree with that. The main thing is that it goes off her HP, so you can't like do what Sigurd does and just have doubling until the foe's almost dead, where it doesn't matter anymore.
You have to be more selective, but that's still fine in my book.
Yeah, that's still fine. Faye's main thing that I like is that she has a very nice free-to-play edge to her and a very low investment edge.
Oh, that's true.
Whereas Micaiah, you have to actually still refine her. So I have full appreciation for everybody here. I just think the Faye is the one that has the best free-to-play value.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Yeah, having a very easy buffer for the entire team is pretty game-changing.
Absolutely.
But the thing I was like most relieved about was Elise's staff, because I was worried.
Same here.
That was the one thing I was worried about, because I didn't know what they were gonna do about them. For all I knew, they could have just been shitty refines, or like slight variations of like, or just like mediocre. Because Veronica's refine wasn't great, and I figured the Brave Hero would probably be like the headliner still. But no, it's actually surprisingly competitive and still really good.
Yeah, I thought Elise would just be like a gimmick. We're refining staves now. Here's like attack speed +2 on gravity. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You don't even get that through a raffle. You just get those. So I'm very pleasantly surprised, and I think this sets a huge precedent for all staves going forward.
Yep.
If they get those same flat stat buffs or not, if they have huge refine effects. I think that, for example, even Mist could actually start seeing use if the refine's good enough.
Yep.
It needs to be something really good to
Elise,
offset the salt of pulling Mist, though.
Yeah, how many Mist?
Elise was not good, but she was at least a cavalry healer, so there was mobility there.
And she's
Mist
popular.
was just outright awful.
At least there's no ire to pull. There's no sadness in pulling Elise for some people.
Yeah, because for the longest time, she was your only cav healer for the longest time.
Yeah, and she was the best offensive one. There were a few cav healers at launch, but she was the best one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, but yeah, those are your weapon refines. We'll continue on with other stuff. What stuff?
Do you want to go a little more over stats?